The internet is going insane after hearing Drake's Ghostwriter says he worked with Nas. What up, world? It's your boy Charles Brown back again, talking facts. Okay, why is everybody so mad? Everybody's going crazy. It's all over the place. Quentin Miller, who ghost wrote for Drake, infamously getting Drake in one of the biggest beefs of his career with Meek Mill, over writing songs for Drake that Meek Mill ended up getting the reference track for. So I'm going to read from this article and we're going to have a discussion. Last month, Quentin Miller sat down with Rory and Maul on their podcast. Shout out to Rory and Maul. Still doing their thing after they left Joe Budden. Where he opened up about being thrust in the spotlight after Meek Mill alleged that he was ghostwriting for Drake. While this was the focus of most of the interview, a clip of Quentin speaking about continuing to write for artists after the incident started to circulate on social media over the weekend. In the clip, Quentin was asked if the situation turned him off from working with other artists. He explained, "I've been still writing for people ever since." Pay attention to the wording. "I've done work with Nas, Big Sean, Jeezy, a bunch of other people, Jeremiah, Ty Dolla Sign, and like a bunch of other people," end quote. So this didn't pop at first, and then a guy by the name, I think it was Elijah, took a clip and said, "Why isn't anyone talking about this?" But I'm also going to continue. Quentin has writing credits on Nas's The Pressure off of King's Disease 2 and Chaos off of Big Sean and Hit Boy's What You Expect. Quentin added that he never wanted to be a writer, but he explained that he has a passion for being creative. He then explained that a lot of artists aren't talented writers, and Quentin added that being a writer in the entertainment industry is a thankless job. Needless to say, my ears perked up. Everybody within earshot that has anything to do with hip hop, love Nas or not, went straight to this clip with something to say. And I have something to say. First thing I want to say is he didn't say he writes for Nas. When I first heard, I was like, here we go. First of all, when I first saw I didn't even hear the video edit. I just read what was said. And I was like, here we go. Another misquote of someone trying to be relevant. He probably didn't say it that way. And then I went and listened to it, and he did say it that way. He said, "I worked with Nas." Now, the reason you can get all up in arms, just imagine if this guy worked for Nas. Let's just be honest. There's no way that he wrote Nas's verses. Let's just start there. He didn't say he wrote Nas's verses, but a lot of people want to take it that way. And I'm going to tell you why they're taking it that way. And I'm going to tell you why it makes no sense. Nas is a real MC. Ain't no way Nas going to have random Quentin Miller writing anything for him other than a hook. And I think that's where we're going with this at. But I'm going to continue. So, what he said, that can be misconstrued, and even in a court of law, right? Even the title, Quentin Miller speaks out about writing for Nas and Jeezy after Drake ghostwriting scandal. This is on Vlad TV. That is the very title. So before you even read it, you heard Nas, Quentin Miller, writing for, ghostwriting scandal. That's all you saw. You saw all these things, and they frazzled your brain because we don't know what to believe in 2022. A lot of stuff has been proven to be. A lot of our heroes have fallen down in a lot of ways, right? So it would be a scandal for Nas to be one of the biggest topics last week about how he's irrelevant and this and that with the, who was it that said that? It was 21 Savage. The whole scandal that he didn't outsell Drake, and it's like, how would he outsell Drake when they're not even doing the same type of thing? But I'm gonna keep it moving, right? The simple fact of the matter is, people want to believe something bad about Nas because Nas is indeed still very relevant. He's on still on a lot of people's top 10 lists, which irritates people who want to be acknowledged as such. Like someone like a 21 Savage would love for people to start saying he's on my top 10 list. Even on my top 21. Top 21, 21, 21. It ain't many people, unless they're under like the age of 25, putting 21 Savage on their top 10 list. Right? So that's something that's going to be of contention. There's a lot of people that don't like the fact that Nas is 30 years in, still on people's top 10 lists. He's still considered the GOAT, and he's still out here making relevant music to this day. So they went like flies to this, right? They went like honeybees because Quentin Miller is the ultimate gotcha moment, right? When Drake was at the top of his game, Meek Mill came out of nowhere talking about, I got proof you don't write your raps. He was mad about Drake not tweeting out his record or whatever the case may be, right? I don't remember what the exact beef was, but all I know is the end of the beef was Drake dropping back to back and pretty much putting a savage asterisk on Meek Mill's career forever, where he got bodied by a singing dude, right? Forever. This is forever. That Meek Mill lost that battle 100%. There is ain't no question. It ain't no debate. Ain't no, Meek, did you hear? Meek came back with some really lame, like it was weak. And when he came back, it was already too late. Back to Back was already banging in the clubs. I think it was like a #1 hit, and he got bodied. So it wasn't even a question. But what he did was come back with quote unquote receipts. When Meek Mill did respond, he came back with reference tracks. As a matter of fact, no, he came back with the reference tracks, if I'm not mistaken, before he even dropped Back to Back, because he had dropped a song before Back to Back. And Meek came out with the reference tracks, and lo and behold, there were a few songs, but the song that he got was a song that Drake had did with him, and the reference track had another voice on it, and I believe that voice was Quentin Miller. It became a big scandal, and everyone started to doubt Drake, and they started to remove him from their best rappers of all time, top 10 lists and top 20. And once that came out, it put a real dent, a serious dent on his ability to be in that top. Before that came out, there were big debates. There were big debates that Drake is the best rapper in the world. Drake could be on that top 5 rapper of all time, just based on the amount of hit records he had and based on the chart positions and based on the units he was moving and based on the songs he was doing. He was doing big songs and people loved him in the hood. But one thing, Meek may have lost that battle, but he won that war because Drake can never, ever again be considered as the best rapper of all time. He can't even be on the list because of the simple fact, once they catch you not writing your raps, your verses, straight up verses, yeah, they can say you're a great artist and you're the greatest artist in the world. But you can't be the greatest rapper in the world. It's just something that it is what it is in rap. You're gonna be like, well, Drake, Dr. Dre don't write his raps, and Kid of Kid and Play wrote all the raps for Kid and Play, and Ice Cube used to write all his rhymes for Eazy-E, and so on and so forth, right? Fat Boys and all. You might even say Vinny used to write all Tretch rhymes for Naughty by Nature. You might even say that, and nobody's going to contradict you. What they're going to say is all of those people are null and void from being the best rapper ever. Every single person you name is nullified from being in the best rapper conversation forever if someone else is writing their raps. It is what it is. Because if you found out that Tupac, half his raps was written by something, then he's out of it too. It is what it is. I don't know what to tell you. It's just something that we do. That's what it is. Because back in the day, you used to have to take a pen and a paper and be my raps versus your raps. Bottom line, it wasn't he gonna write my man gonna write it for me, then I come battle you. No. At that point, you was done. Didn't want to hear you. Nobody wanted to see you. When DMX went to them other hoods and battled these other rappers, when DMX came to battle Jay, you think he was using verses somebody wrote? That's not how it works. That's not how it works. Yeah, you can make a song, you can make songs, but these raps gotta be your own personal thoughts. No matter who wrote the hook, and that's the other thing I'm gonna get into. Quentin Miller apparently has a relationship with Hit Boy. Because you just heard in the article earlier that he's on another record with Big Sean and Hit Boy. So one way or another, him and Hit Boy have a relationship past the Drake situation. And if I'm not mistaken, who was it that Hit Boy had a? It was Kanye, I believe. Hit Boy had a real problem with Kanye. And when you have a problem like that with a very big star, you tend to be. Now I'm just reaching right. I'm spitballing, but you tend to be a little more favorable to other people who have problems with big stars. You like say like a it's like a misfits fraternity, right? Again, I don't know. I'm just spitballing. But maybe Hit Boy, seeing how they did him, saw what happened to Quentin Miller and took him under his wing and had him working with Big Sean and Nas and this and that. But I guarantee you, the Nas situation is nothing more than maybe a hook or an arrangement. You can have anybody do your hooks. A rapper needs people to do their hooks. Most rappers can't do hooks. I'm gonna be honest with you. Most rappers are not good at making their hooks in the long term. Yeah, you can make the hooks at the beginning of your career, your first album, second album, but as time goes on, a lot of these rappers run out of hooks. They run out of catchy things. They start losing. They start losing the moxie of the time, and the time starts getting ahead of them. Right? Big Daddy Kane said when he started to fall off, when he felt he was falling off, and he knew he wasn't bringing it the way he wanted to, he had to go and start getting the young boys to rock with him. Like he had to start being around them and getting in the studio with them and hearing them spit and get reinvigorated. And hearing how they did hooks and hearing how they made songs because he started feeling out of touch with it. He said that. He said that. So he had to get his skills sharpened again and he had to go back to scratch and figure it out, change his whole flow up and become, a new man. Because Kane was in the 80s. Kane was rapping around the time Melly Mel and them was still rapping. So by the time Onyx and all this other stuff came out and Tribe had passed and all that, Kane was old. So he started feeling like he didn't have the sharp utensils no more. So he started getting with the youngsters, and that's what you have to do. And that's what rappers be, getting people to do these hooks. That's what made Nas reinvigorated to this day by getting in the studio with Hit Boy, right? We saw Nas. Now I'm not going to use the word. Put it like that. I'm not going to use the word floundering. He was never floundering, but what it was that Nas was taking mad long with these records. Mad long with these records. Remember the Cali song, Nas album done. He had to make a song that Nas album was finally done, that it was done. Nas album is done. That was an actual issue in hip hop that Nas don't drop albums. And he took mad long. I remember I think Nas took 6 years one time to drop an album. Nas was out here living off the past. Nas took 6 years to drop one album. And then that's when Cali came, Nas album done. Everybody was like, oh, Nas album done. Like, it was amazing. Now, Nas giving you 2 and 3 a year. But that's because Hit Boy is inspiring him, and they're inspiring each other. But I guarantee you, many of these concepts are coming from his energy of Hit Boy and being around these younger rappers. You see he's working with, who's he, A$AP Rocky and Fabio Foreign and a whole bunch of younger artists than him. Nas might got 25 years on these dudes. Right? So that's what you do when you, I'm not gonna say you want to stay relevant, right? That's not the word I'm looking for. But it's to the effect when you want to stay current. That's what Nas is doing. So Quentin Miller may be brought in by Hit Boy, who, like I said, is picking up this band of misfits of people. I could be wrong. I just feel like the only reason that Hit Boy would reach out to a Quentin Miller, in my opinion, after the scandal when Quentin Miller was jumped, beat up, ostracized, completely out of the game, is for one, he has a certain talent level, but for two, I feel like he had to have felt in his heart that they did this to me too. Right? For a minute, I remember Hit Boy going off. I remember him going off when, who was it? I think, if I'm not mistaken, when he dropped the album with was it the first King's Disease? I think he went off about how the industry did him. And we know the industry he was talking about. He was talking about Kanye. How they did him. And he wasn't I think he said Jay-Z called him and told him, that's not that. Don't give him that energy. He said that. He said Jay-Z called him. He said, bro, delete that. Don't give him that energy. Enjoy your moment. Because once you bring their name into the energy, whoever you're talking about, you're giving the energy of your moment to them. And he deleted his tweet. Right? But he was not happy with how they played him. And I'm thinking He probably felt the same way for this guy, but that's neither here nor there. It's irrelevant. The simple fact of the matter is, I believe that Quentin Miller did a hook or something. He arranged something on this song. Ain't nowhere in the world. Y'all can rest assured there's no scandal of Nas pen game. There would be no reference track unless he makes it right now and put it out. A fake one. There is no reference track for Nas. There is no, and I do remember Nas. I'm gonna be honest with you. I do remember Nas was low key. He didn't say it this way, but he was tired of writing. Because he was saying he was going in the studio, just freestyling and cutting it up. So he would just say a bunch of stuff, keep what was relevant, take out the rest, and keep rapping. Da, da, da. And that's what Nas said. I think around the time he did I Am, he was chopping up his songs like that. He was just going to listen to the beat and just spit bars, da, 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 and they would just hold on to the bars that he said that was worth it, let go of the other ones, and keep the song going. Just let the beat play, and he would just freestyle some stuff. That's a different animal than what we are getting right now, right? Nas said that's what he was doing for a while. It's not writing off the head, it's freestyling, it's different. But I believe Quentin Miller is, I don't understand, this is my thing. Everybody can interview, right? And I understand that, he has a right to interview just like anybody else. But sometimes I watch these Quentin Miller interviews and it almost feels like he's pushing buttons to a degree. And he's not even trying, it's like media training would tell you, when someone asks you a question about ghostwriting, right? If they say, "Oh, how'd the ghostwriting scandal affect you?" and you'd be like, "Oh no, I'm good. I kept working. I've been writing for Nas, writing for what the hell, bro? Come on, bro. Media training is necessary at some point because you don't throw Nas' name in that. I'm gonna tell you why you don't. Because remember when MC Search said he had wrote for a rhyme for Rakim, and Rakim response was like, "Son, don't play with me like that." He said, "Don't you ever fix your mouth to say you wrote a nothing for me. Because it'll get real ugly out in these streets." He take it dead serious. Rakim came and searched like, "Bro, I will hurt you out here over saying you wrote anything for me. Don't you play with me like that." What Search was trying to say was the label wasn't sure Rakim was going to be able to hand in the music. They had a beat for him, and they wasn't sure that Rakim was going to write to it, or I think he was having writer's block or something. So Search, according to Search, he wrote a verse for Rakim. He's like, "I would have been honored if he would have spit it." He said, Rakim never got the verse. I didn't give it to Rakim. I didn't say, "This is your verse, da da da." But the story went that Search, MC Search, wrote a verse for Rakim. When it hit the wire, all of that context was gone. All it said was, Search says he wrote a verse for Rakim. That's putting Rakim's entire catalog in jeopardy. Many people regard him as the God MC. And if you hear, and you're going to tell me MC Search wrote a rhyme, anything for Rakim, that's putting everything he ever did into jeopardy. So no, he can't say that. So this is what Quentin Miller has to do. When they're talking to him about ghostwriting, he can never throw another MC's name in there for any reason at all. Now, I can see him writing for Jeezy all day. I don't know if Jeezy write at all. But I do know Nas writes everything. And Quentin Miller don't have the pen game to rock with no Nas. I've heard Quentin Miller's music, and it don't rock with no Nas. So whatever he did with some short stuff, we're going to leave it at that. Calm down, Hip Hop Nation. Nas does not have a ghostwriter. All right? I'm going to leave it at that. CLBMG. Look down in the comments. You're going to see a pinned comment for the merch that we got. We got a whole merch. It's called the CLB Machine. You want to support the channel, go buy something off that and send it to me. I'll post it on all the social medias. We have about 8 social media pages. I'll post that picture and your at all that. If you get something off the site, just send it to me and we can take care of it from there. CLBMG, we doing big things. Clash the Podcast every Wednesday is live on Facebook, and it goes YouTube the following day. And it is what it is, man. Check the Clash the Podcast Spotify playlist. Artists, if you're interested in adding your music to that, go ahead and hit me for the link to collaborate. It's a collaborative playlist. If we like your music that you put up and you like the playlist, we'll keep it there. All right? And if we don't like it, we're going to delete it. It is what it is. But don't go spamming the list because we're going to block you. All right? CLBMG. I'm going to catch y'all on the flip side. Peace.
CLB.